Listen, stop what you are doing right now, because what the Detroit Lions just pulled off this week is the kind of move that separates championship organizations from everybody else. And if you are not talking about this, you are simply not paying attention. Detroit is building something special, something quiet, something methodical, something that is going to make the rest of this league regret sleeping on the Motor City. And it all starts with one name: Jack Campbell. The Detroit Lions and linebacker Jack Campbell have agreed to terms on a 4-year, $81 million extension with $51.1 million guaranteed, Bleacher Report. And before you even think about scrolling away, let me tell you exactly why this is one of the most important moves this franchise has made in a generation. This is not just a contract. This is a declaration of war. Detroit just locked up the engine of their entire defense through the year 2030, and every offense in the NFC better start losing sleep right now. Let's go back and paint the full picture, because this story has layers that most people are completely missing. When the Lions originally declined Jack Campbell's 5th-year option, the internet exploded. The fan base panicked. "Why would you let your best linebacker walk?" people cried. Sports talk radio was on fire. Twitter was a disaster, but here is what the clever people in Detroit's front office knew that everyone else didn't. The Lions declined the 5th-year option for the 2027 season that would have paid Campbell $21.925 million. But the plan was always to lock him down long-term. NBC Sports. They were playing chess while the rest of us were playing checkers. By declining that option, they freed themselves up to structure a deal on their own terms, spreading the money intelligently over 4 years and setting themselves up for maximum cap flexibility. Brad Holmes has been pulling strings behind the scenes, and this was the masterstroke. Now let's talk about what Jack Campbell actually is. Because if you have not been watching this man operate, you have been missing one of the most dominant defensive players in the entire National Football League. Campbell led all Lions defenders and finished second in the league with 176 tackles last season, while playing in all but 8 of the team's 1,105 defensive snaps. Sports Illustrated. Read that again. 176 tackles. The man was everywhere. He was in the backfield, he was in coverage, he was blowing up runs before they even got started. And it wasn't just the quantity, it was the quality. Campbell earned All-Pro honors for the first time after totaling 176 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, 4 passes defensed, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. NBC Sports. That is not a linebacker. That is a force of nature wearing a Detroit Lions jersey. And the truly remarkable thing? The records this man broke in the process. Campbell was the only player in the NFL with 150-plus tackles and 5-plus sacks in 2025. And the only player with 160-plus tackles and 5-plus sacks in a single season since at least the year 2000. NFL since the year 2000, folks. We are talking about a generational performance. We are talking about the kind of statistical achievement that you chisel into a Hall of Fame plaque. And Detroit just made sure that monster in the middle of their defense is going nowhere. So where does this deal rank in the grand scheme of linebacker contracts? Right at the very top. The 25-year-old will enter the 2026 season as the second highest paid off-ball linebacker in the NFL at $20.25 million per year, trailing only San Francisco's Fred Warner. And here is where it gets really interesting. According to PFF rankings, Jack Campbell is the second best off-ball linebacker in football, right behind Fred Warner. So Detroit paid the second best linebacker in the league, the second highest salary in the league. That is not a coincidence. That is a front office that knows exactly what they have. That is a front office that respects the market and respects their player all at once. This was a fair deal. It was a smart deal, and it was the deal that Detroit needed to get done. Think about the other linebackers who got paid around this same range. Roquan Smith got his massive deal back in 2023. Zach Bond just signed his deal. Azeez Al-Shaair locked in his 3-year contract. And now you line all of them up and you ask yourself an honest question. Who would you rather have on your team right now today in 2026? It is not even close. Jack Campbell is 25 years old. He is in the absolute prime of his career. He is healthy. He is hungry. And he just told the entire world exactly what he is feeling. Campbell announced via the Lions' social media, "I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be here long term. Now it's time to go win a Super Bowl. Go Lions." That right there is not a man collecting a paycheck. That is a man on a mission. Defensive coordinator Kelvin Shepard made it crystal clear at the NFL Scouting Combine. This is Jack Campbell's defense. And I don't hesitate when I say that. This is Jack Campbell's defense, and everyone in that locker room knows it. Point blank, period. It all goes through Jack. Yahoo Sports, when your own defensive coordinator is speaking with that kind of conviction, that kind of fire, you know you have something truly special. And now that something special is locked up in Detroit through the year 2030. But wait, because the Lions were not done making moves this week. Oh no. While everyone was still processing the Campbell extension, Detroit quietly went out and added a new wide receiver to the roster. And even though this one is not going to break the internet, it is actually a smarter move than you might think. The Lions have signed Cedric Wilson Jr., and once you understand the logic behind this signing, it starts to make a whole lot of sense. Wilson, listed at 6'2" and 197 pounds, was a sixth-round draft pick out of Boise State in 2018. He has made professional stops with the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins, in 3 separate stints, and the New Orleans Saints. Now look, nobody is going to put this man on a cover of Sports Illustrated. Nobody is hosting a parade in Cedric Wilson's honor. But what he brings to the Lions is exactly what this team needs at this specific moment in time, and here is why. Wilson enters Detroit with 7 years of NFL experience after previous stops with the Cowboys, the Dolphins, and the Saints. While he has never developed into a true number 1 target, he has consistently shown value as a reliable depth receiver capable of contributing both offensively and on special teams. Roundtable Sports, and in this particular case, value as a depth piece is not a criticism. It is a compliment. It is exactly what the Detroit Lions are shopping for. When you look at this wide receiver room, you have got Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best slot receivers in football. You have got Jameson Williams, a burner who can take the lid off any defense on the planet. You have got Isaac Tesla developing into a legitimate threat on the outside. The stars are set. The question is always, who fills in behind them? At the top of the depth chart are Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Isaac Tesla. Other wideouts battling for a spot on the roster and playing time are Dominic Lovett, Jackson Meeks, Tom Kennedy, and Malik Cunningham. Sports Illustrated, most of those guys behind the top 3 are slot receivers. They work inside. They are not built to line up on the boundary and win contested catch battles against big corners. And that is precisely where Cedric Wilson Jr. has his opening. He is 6'2", he runs clean routes, and he has been a professional football player for 8 years. He knows what he is doing. The path to the roster for this man is clearer than the outside noise would suggest. His best season came in Dallas in 2021, when he recorded 45 receptions for 602 yards and 6 touchdowns, while playing alongside a loaded Cowboys offense. Roundtable Sports. He has shown the ability to produce when given the opportunity. He then parlayed that successful season into a 3-year, $22.8 million contract with the Miami Dolphins, but never saw that level of success again in his career. Now, Miami is where NFL careers go to quietly fade away, and his unfortunately did just that. But the Lions are not asking Cedric Wilson to be a star. They are asking him to be a professional. They are asking him to know the playbook, line up on the outside, and be ready when his number is called. Can he do that? Based on everything we have seen from this man over 8 years in the league, the answer is yes. Think about how Detroit has used players like this before. Remember Tim Patrick? He came in after a brutal string of injuries, barely able to run at full speed, and the Lions still found a role for him as an outside presence. Wilson, who turns 31 in November, will compete for a back-end roster spot, Yahoo Sports, and faces legitimate competition, but that competition is mostly coming from guys who are unproven, young, and working on catching up to professional speed. Wilson already knows what professional speed looks like. He has been living it for nearly a decade. And in a room full of young receivers still learning the game, that experience is worth something real and tangible. Now let us zoom out for one moment and appreciate what is actually happening in Detroit, because if you connect all the dots, this city is building something that the rest of the league genuinely has not caught on to yet. Jack Campbell locked up through 2030. Jahmyr Gibbs' extension expected to be the next domino. Sam Laporta and Brian Branch still in the mix for long-term deals. Fellow members of the 2023 draft class, running back Jahmyr Gibbs, tight end Sam Laporta, and safety Brian Branch, are also up for new deals, with Gibbs being the most likely of the trio to get a new pact this offseason. Detroit drafted an entire generation of talent in 2023, and they are now in the process of keeping that generation together. When is the last time you saw a team do that successfully? When is the last time you saw a small market franchise hold their core together and build for multiple championship windows simultaneously? And the man at the center of this defense, the heartbeat of this entire unit, just made it crystal clear he is not going anywhere. Campbell is now secured and back in the fold with the team for the next 4 years. The middle of Detroit's defense is locked, loaded, and frankly terrifying if you are an opposing offense trying to figure out how to run the football against these Lions. You have Campbell reading your pre-snap motion before you even know what play you are running. You have him attacking gaps with the ferocity of a pass rusher while maintaining the discipline of a coverage linebacker. This man is a problem, and Detroit made sure he remains their problem to have for the foreseeable future. The Lions finished 9-8 in 2025 and missed expectations. But championships are not built in one off-season move. They are built in a series of calculated, precise decisions over time. And what you are watching right now, quietly, without much national fanfare, is Detroit making exactly the right decisions at exactly the right time. Locking up your generational linebacker, adding experienced depth at a position of need, preparing extensions for the rest of your core. This organization is not panicking. This organization is not rebuilding. This organization is reloading, and they are doing it with the quiet confidence of a team that knows exactly where they are headed. So while the rest of the NFL is busy chasing the same headline players and paying top dollar for aging veterans, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are playing an entirely different game. A game built on drafting right, developing correctly, paying fair, and keeping your people together. And right now, in the spring of 2026, that game plan has Detroit sitting on one of the most dangerous defensive foundations in the entire National Football League. The Motor City is alive. The Lions are hungry. And Jack Campbell just made a promise to One Pride Nation. It is time to go win a Super Bowl. If you are sleeping on Detroit, wake up. Because this team is coming, and they are coming for everything. If this video fired you up the way it fired us up, do us a favor and smash that like button right now. Leave a comment below and tell us, is Jack Campbell the best linebacker in the NFL? Or does Fred Warner still have the edge? Let's debate it. And if you are not subscribed to Sports Talk Detroit yet, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and come ride this Lions wave with us every single week. We will see you on the next one. Go Lions.